Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Reel Me In, a movie podcast where you didn't really ask for it, but hey, I'm going to give it to you anyways. This is a podcast where I talk about anything, everything, and anything about movies. I'm your host, Chase Lee, and hey, guys, listen. This is episode 119, and, if you were perusing on the internet for some weird-ass bestiality porn and you accidentally came across my podcast and you're not a movie fan, well, maybe I can convince you to be one. So, as I said, guys, I'm Chase Lee, and I host this podcast. And if you are new to this, welcome. If you're a returning fan, I appreciate it. I really do. I don't know why you guys keep coming back. I'm not that interesting. A little bit of housekeeping before we begin. If you were listening on Spreaker, iHeartRadio, or SoundCloud, and you want an audio or a video version of this podcast, and you want to see me flail my arms around, then you can do just that. The link will be in the description below. And if you are watching on YouTube and you want an audio-only version of this podcast, the link will be in the description below for you as well. And the cool thing about YouTube is I recently figured out how to use these headers down here. So if you want to skip to the movie news, trailers, the reviews, go whatever you want to, jump right away. You'll see the header change, and then you can do just that. So, with that out of the way, I will be going over some movie news like usual, some trailers that dropped, and by trailers I mean 2 of them, and of course my reviews of 999 and Eddie the Eagle. It was a slow weekend at the box office, but you know what? We're gonna make it fucking work. It's gonna be good. And then of course box office results for the weekend, and then we'll wrap it out. So first of all, how you guys doing? You guys doing pretty good? You guys seen any good movies recently? You guys excited for the Oscars? Woo! I am. I will be covering the Oscars live as a bonus episode of this podcast, so look out for that. All right, so let's get into some movie news, shall we? I mean, this was a packed week for movie news. Unlike trailers, movie news was all over the place, and I picked 5 stories because I figured these were the ones to talk about the most. So the first one is that Birth of a Nation has a release date, and it's supposed to come out October 7th, 2016. This is a good date. I think 12 Years a Slave came out in October as well, and you're probably thinking to yourself, why are you saying 12 years? Because it's a slave? No, just hear me out. So when you put it in October, it's like a prime real estate for any type of Oscar buzz because it's a few months away from the nominations and stuff. It's perfect. And the reason why I bring 12 Years a Slave up, Birth of a Nation, I think, was the biggest bought movie at Sundance in history, with $17 million. And that wasn't even the top offer. What happened was this movie was offered $20 million by Netflix, but they turned it down to go with Fox Searchlight, because Fox Searchlight was behind the distribution of 12 Years a Slave. And that movie went to go win Best Picture. So Nate Parker, the director and actor involved in this project, he figured that would be a better move, which I think it is a better move, because if it was just dumped on Netflix, it would be forgotten about, like a Beast of No Nation, which I like Beast of No Nation. I think it's a fine film, but it was forgotten within a couple of weeks. So I think them going with Fox Searchlight to come out in October, that's perfect for the Oscar season. I cannot wait to see this. I've been hearing extreme buzz about this movie, and I really like 12 Years a Slave. So I'm looking forward to Birth of a Nation. And apparently it's like from what I've heard is 12 Years a Slave is good, but Birth of a Nation is 10 times better. What? How is that even fucking possible? So, yeah, I'm really excited. Birth of a Nation has got to be top 10, at least most anticipated for the rest of the year. So I am looking forward to that. So October 7th is when that high priority movie from Sundance comes out. The next piece of news is that Ty Sheridan, little Ty Sheridan, the kid from Mud and the kid from Joe, and he's going to be in X-Men Apocalypse, and he's also in that, what was it, the Zombies Scouts Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse or something like that. He's appearing in more and more movies, and I'm glad he's getting a lot of work. The story is that he's going to be the lead in Steven Spielberg's Ready Player One. This is awesome. I never read Ready Player One, but my roommate has dabbled in the book, and he says it's pretty cool so far. So I'm really looking forward to it. Apparently, it's got a bunch of video game references, a bunch of 80s references and stuff, and it sounds like it's going to be a really cool kind of movie with all that in there. And I really love Ty Sheridan as a choice. I remember when I saw Mud in theaters, and I was, of course, I went for Matthew McConaughey. Time is like a flat circle. True Detective season 1's way better than season 2. I went to go see Mud for Matthew McConaughey, and I had no idea who the director was or whatnot, because I saw Take Shelter like in 2012, but I didn't acknowledge who the director was until I saw Mud. And once I saw Mud and I was blown away, I was like, holy crap, I got to see what this director has done. I can't wait to see what he does next and stuff. I'm really looking forward to Midnight Special, by the way, that comes out next month. That's directed by the same guy that did Mud and Take Shelter. But I remember when I saw Mud, and I walked out of the theater, and I was like, oh my God, who the fuck is this Ty Sheridan kid? Because that kid was fucking amazing in Mud. There's a couple scenes where he pretty much gets duped by the older kids, and I'm just like, oh, it's hitting me right in the feels, right here in my heart, because I've been teased a lot when I was a kid, so I felt the pain. And the way he acted in his face and just the way he portrayed that scene and stuff, I was hooked, man. I was like, I want to see this kid do more stuff. And I remember when Joe was coming out, and it was at the Dallas International Film Festival, I got to interview Ty Sheridan. It was a round table, but I got to take a picture with him. I geeked out over like a 17-year-old back in the day. I know, it's creepy. But no, he was a really cool kid, and I told him, I was like, hey, man, I'm a huge fan of yours ever since Mud, and I can't wait to see what you do. And I remember he said in that round table, he was like, yeah, I'm leaving for LA tomorrow to do this like zombie movie. That's what the zombie apocalypse movie was. And of course, he's going to be X-Men Apocalypse. I'm super stoked for that. He's going to play Cyclops. But him being in a Steven Spielberg movie, this kid has worked with everyone now. He's worked with a Bryan Singer. He's worked with a Jeff Nichols. He's worked with David Gordon Green. Now he's working with Steven Spielberg. This kid's he's on fire. He's like 5 years younger than me, like 5 or 6 years younger than me. No, probably 6 or 7. And this kid's already like working with some of the best directors in Hollywood. He's got a bright future. I cannot wait to see where it goes. And he's from Texas. So there you go, Ty. Represent us proud. And Ready Player One just fascinates me just from the concept. Adding Ty Sheridan now, they added Ben Mendelsohn, who, if you guys have not seen Bloodline on Netflix, watch that shit. Ben Mendelsohn is fucking awesome. And he's always been awesome, but he's finally being in more movies now and putting himself in the forefront. But yeah, I'm just really excited to see Ty Sheridan being a Steven Spielberg movie with this type of movie. It could be a humongous blockbuster. So he's going to be an X-Men Apocalypse and then this one. So he's going to have like 2 blockbusters back to back. I'm stoked. I'm super excited for this. There's never a mistake to add talent. So the next piece of news is that Stephen DeKnight, who is the showrunner and creator of Spartacus, and he recently was the showrunner of Season 1 Daredevil, he is going to direct Pacific Rim 2. What? That's so fucking cool. Listen, I like Guillermo del Toro quite a lot. He's the Mexican Peter Jackson. There you go. There's your joke for the day. But I really like Pacific Rim a lot. It's a great robot versus monster movie. You don't need that much plot or that much character. It's just you go have fun with it and just enjoy the fucking ride and enjoy the fights throughout the city. Excuse me. But Stephen DeKnight taking over the second one gets me more excited for the sequel now, because Stephen DeKnight's the type of person to where he would focus on the humans a lot and focused on the robots and monsters. He's a very good person that deals well with characters and story and stuff. So if you add that element to Pacific Rim, we could be looking at a really, really good robot versus monster movie. And you guys have to keep in mind, for the Jaegers, they're operated by humans, like inside the heads of the armored bodies or whatever. So there could be a lot of human elements that you could draw from there. You could have a more dramatic stuff that you can pull from there and stuff. So I think adding a Stephen DeKnight is great. Now, I saw the pilot to Spartacus. I thought it was pretty good. I definitely want to continue it at some point. But what he did on Daredevil Season 1 made me love that show. It was so gritty and so dark, and I loved all the characters. I loved the confliction between Matt Murdock and all the people that he talks to and stuff. It's good stuff. It's good quality programming, and now I'm even more excited for Pacific Rim 2. So Stephen DeKnight, the guy behind Daredevil Season 1 and Spartacus, he is going to direct Pacific Rim 2. Fuck yeah. I mean, there's just nothing but greatness out of all the news today. The next piece of news is that the Russo brothers, who are the directors of Captain America Winter Soldier, and they're going to be coming out with Civil War here in a few months, and then they're also going to direct Infinity War down the line, and they're going to be probably the most iconic directors that Marvel has ever had. They released a couple statements this week, and I'm going to paraphrase it, but they basically said Civil War is going to have a controversial ending. They said it's going to divide people, which is kind of cool because the movie's going to divide us on who we choose on which side to be on, whether it be Steve Rogers or Tony Stark. Controversial ending tells me this. They're going to axe off someone that is probably important. Now, Chris Evans has been on record, and he said that he is booked for 9 months to shoot Infinity War Part 1 and Part 2. So you're thinking to yourself, oh, they can't kill Captain America. He's going to be in Infinity War. What if they're pulling a ruse on us? What if Kevin motherfucking Feige, the head honcho at Marvel, is pulling us a good one? What if Captain America dies? He dies in the graphic novel Civil War, and this is his third film. This could be the pivotal point in this universe where if Steve Rogers dies, it's going to really kind of tear everyone apart. And I think it's going to add more conflict and more drama to Infinity War and all the movies down the pipeline. Will it kill Captain America? Probably not. I'm just going to keep it real 100 for you. I wish they would do that and have the balls to do that if the story calls for it. But they won't. Marvel, listen, I love you, as you can tell from my background. I have had a real problem with you guys and your villains. I just have. Besides Loki, and I actually like Ultron, by the way, there hasn't really been memorable villains. Do you guys remember the fucking villain from Thor 2? I'll give you 5 seconds. Yeah, you don't remember? Malekith. Yeah, you remember that guy? No one does. They've been really lacking in their villains to a point where DC's taking over their villain lines and really making their villains pop out, and then Marvel's making their heroes pop and stuff. So it needs to be a balance of the two. Now, I don't know what kind of controversial ending they're gonna do, because Marvel's terrible at killing people off. They're terrible, with their villains and stuff. So I don't know. I honestly don't know what could be the ending that could divide people. Because they've killed people in the past, but they brought them back. Like, no one's ever really dead. Their villains have been kind of lacking. So I don't know what it could be. Maybe I don't know. Maybe they kill like 2 side heroes, like maybe a War Machine and I don't know. Like a Pepper Potts or something. I don't know. Like just 2 smaller characters. I honestly don't know what kind of ending they're going to be talking about, but I do know this for fact. I am super excited for Civil War. I cannot wait for this movie. It comes out in a few months. I'm ready to do this. Yeah, I'm just still trying to, like, if you guys have any theories as to what could be controversial, comment in the place where up my face and let me know. I seriously think that maybe they're pulling a ruse and Captain America will die. But then again, it's Disney. They don't really kill anyone off, so I don't fucking know anymore. What my hope is, I wish they would kill him off if the story calls for it. To add more gravitas and depth to the further movies down the line, I think that would be really crucial. And plus, folks, Doctor Strange comes out in a couple, or several months, but he has the what is it? The time gem, I believe. I think so. So he can mess with time. If you kill Steve Rogers and you go back in time to like bring him back or something, that could work. I kind of don't want that to happen just because, like I said, Marvel's really terrible at killing people and letting them die. I mean, they've killed a few people off, but a few out of like 11 movies? Come on. I don't know. I don't know what the controversial ending is. I hope it's Steve Rogers kicking the bucket, and I hope Chris Evans was pulling a ruse on us and saying that he was going to shoot for 9 months, but he's really not. So I don't know. We'll find out in May. But yeah, Marvel. Two things I've always told you: if you're going to kill someone, kill them off, and then make your villains better. Those are the only two things. But yeah, I hope it's so controversial that people like bitch about it on IMDb, because that's always the most fun part is when you get done with the movie, going on IMDb and see the message boards, like everyone's just freaking out and probably like, I don't know, masturbating with like some sandpaper or something because they just hate their life or whatever. So I don't know. That's how the internet is. Like that's just how people are. So that's that piece of news. And then I have to discuss this rumor that the Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice Blu-ray will have an R-rated cut. Okay, so let's backtrack a little bit. Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice, I think got its PG-13 rating back in October of last year or September. They got it pretty early on versus like a month out or something. So they got their PG-13 rating around in the fall of last year, which is about 6 months before it comes out. Since Deadpool is a huge success now, this makes Warner Brothers look like they just automatically said, let's do an R-rated cut because Deadpool is successful. That could be it. But let's give Warner Brothers the benefit of the doubt just for a little bit and given the fact that they got their movie rated a long time ago, and they probably submitted it, and it got an R rating, and then they just swept it under the rug, and they changed it to PG-13. So then putting that original cut on the Blu-ray, if they wanted to, go for it. But don't do it because of Deadpool. That's my whole point with this thing. If you're going to do it, that's fine. But don't... I hate when fucking, like, business analysts look at Deadpool and go, you know what, Bob? We should probably make our movie R-rated because Deadpool. So don't fucking do that. Deadpool is a rare case, okay? And Deadpool's not the first R-rated Marvel movie, so get that out of your fucking asses. I am so sick and tired of studios jumping on bandwagons because when you do that, you run it dry. Look what happened to Avatar when it came out in 2009. Every studio after that was like, oh man, we should really make our movie 3D. And now look, the 3D train is starting to ride out and crash into the ground, and no one really asked for it to begin with. It's the same way with this. If you make everything R-rated just for the fuck of it because Deadpool is so successful, we're going to get tired of it very fast. Why don't you keep those movies special? Keep Deadpool R. Keep an X-Force R. Maybe the Wolverine film, an R. But you don't need anything else to be rated R. Now, can Batman v Superman justify an R rating? I'm going to say yes. Out of the comics that I've read and reading The Dark Knight Returns and watching The Dark Knight Returns, the animated version of that graphic novel, is a very violent story. Now, Batman's not going around like with his dick out saying, fuck, bitch, titty cock all the time. And that's not what gives him the R rating. He gets the R rating because he is a very dark character with a very dark past, and he can fucking commit violence that's so heinous but not kill anyone, and it can justify an R rating. So I totally get that. And listen, I can say as many bad things as I want about this story, but in all reality, if Warner Brothers came out with an R-rated ultimate director's cut of Batman v Superman, I'm going to fucking get it. I just am, because I like Zack Snyder's director's cuts. I do. I liked Watchmen quite a bit, and I think he extended 300 a little bit. I think I saw that version. But if they're doing it because of Deadpool, I sell it completely. If they're doing it because this is what they submitted first and stuff, and they're just going to kind of roll with it, that's fine. But do we really need an R-rated cut of this? Not really. But if it's there and it's presented to me, I'm going to watch it. But I don't think you should do it just for the sake of Deadpool being successful. That's all I'm saying. However, because I like comic books and comic book movies, if that was presented in front of me, I would buy it in a heartbeat. Because, like I said, when you read The Dark Knight Returns and stuff, it gets pretty dark very fast. It gets very violent very fast. There's a few scenes of violence where there's like heads being shot at and like blood's just like spurting out and stuff, and that would justify an R rating and stuff. And the reason why Batman has never been R rated is because is the PG-13 can do pretty well. Like they can push it to the limits and they can make it very dark and brooding. Look at The Dark Knight. The fucking Joker rams a guy's head through a pencil. That's pretty fucking dark. But the fact that the scene is so quick and it's like literally a millisecond and there's no blood, it can justify the PG-13 rating. Our rating system is fucked up in general. I won't even get into that right now. But as far as this story goes, if it is true, I will get it if it is offered to me. But I don't want Warner Brothers to do this because of Deadpool. That's all I'm saying. And I'm okay with the PG-13 cut for right now in theaters. And if they want to release an extended, unrated, R-rated, whatever cut for the Blu-ray, I'm totally down for that. Because who doesn't want more Batman v Superman? Come on, it's not even a fucking question. All right, so that's it for the movie news, guys. If you have any comments on any movie news stories or whatever, comment in the place to open my face and let me know. So let's get into some trailers. All right, so there were two trailers that dropped. The first one I'll talk about very fast, and the second one I'll get into a little bit more depth just because I like the director and the actors around it. Okay, so the first one was Pete's Dragon. Now, this is the remake of the Disney Pete's Dragon back in the day where it was live action and the dragon was hand-drawn. So it was like a mixture of live action and animation, and it was one of the first of its kind like that and stuff, and it's very unique. Even if you look at the DVD and Blu-ray cover of the old version, the kids just standing there like what's up, yo, and then like the fucking dragon's in the back and it's super colorful and stuff. So everyone remembers the look of that dragon. He was really colorful, he was really playful and stuff. Even if you haven't seen the movie, you know what the dragon looks like. Now, the teaser trailer dropped for this movie, which comes out in August, I believe. It was fine. I think my one complaint is they don't show the dragon, which is good. It's a teaser. But they do show the back of it. They show it flying up. And if you kind of pause it, it looks like, I don't know, like a Game of Thrones dragon or something. I don't see the magic there. It just looks like a normal dragon to me. And I don't know. Because if you make it too colorful, it's going to be too cheesy. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know, man. If you make it just a regular looking dragon, it's just going to blend in with everything else. It doesn't stand out like the original Pete's Dragon did back in the day. So I don't know, man. And like I said, there's really not much to judge by. This little kid's running through the woods and or whatever. There's a bunch of shots of Bryce Dallas Howard and Robert Redford speaking, and then the dragon flies up. I mean, that's it. But does it get me excited? Not really. I gotta be honest with you. It's one of these Disney movies that I'm just gonna like sweep under the rug and be like, okay, I'm just not gonna talk about that anymore. But I mean, if you like Pete's Dragon, the original, and you're excited for the new one, you haven't checked the teaser, check it out and let me know what you think. But for me personally, it's whatever. It kind of this was said on another podcast, but they said that it kind of reminded them of it looked like Jungle Book. And it kind of did. It starts out with like this kid just running through the forest, like, oh, what is this? A new TV spot for Jungle Book? And then you're just like, oh, no, not really. All right. So the last and final trailer of the week, I've got a very slow week for trailers, guys, is The Light Between Oceans. And this is directed by Derek Cianfrance, and it stars Michael Fassbender, Alicia Vikander, and Rachel Weisz. I like this trailer. I didn't love it, but then again, I didn't really love The Place Beyond the Pines trailer. I liked the trailer a lot because it was done by the guy that did Blue Valentine. And when I saw the movie, I was blown away, and it was one of my favorites of that year. First of all, I like Derek Cianfrance as a director. I met him in person. He was a cool dude. He sounds exactly like Ryan Gosling when Ryan Gosling will get older. It was kind of creepy, but he has worked with Ryan a lot, so it makes sense. But I've always liked his movies. Blue Valentine is one of the best romance movies you will ever see. And by best, I mean it's destructive. It'll break your heart. It'll make you just feel cold and dirty inside, and you'll just have to get yourself out of the fetal position in the corner of your room because that's where it will put you after the end of the movie. The Place Beyond the Pines is really good. It's just such a fantastic film. It's broken up into 3 acts, 3 distinct acts, and it's a pass the torch type movie. So I won't say what happens, but there's some people that might live, some people that might die, and they pass the torch, the metaphorical torch along to further the story to someone else, and it kind of just carries on and stuff. And I thought it was just really well handled. I love the music, the cinematography, and the acting, man. Fucking Ryan Gosling, Bradley Cooper, Eva Mendes, and Ben Mendelsohn's also in it. So if you guys haven't seen Blue Valentine or The Place Beyond the Pines, check those out. I highly recommend it. But The Light Between Oceans. Essentially, the story is Michael Fassbender and Alicia Vikander. They're a couple, and they see a baby kind of wash up on the shores of the beach, and they take it in because they're just like, oh, wow, this baby was abandoned and stuff. So they take in the baby, and the kid grows up to be I think 6 years old-ish, 5 or 6 or whatever. And then the real mom who lost that child, which is her child, she's like, oh, I can't find her anymore. And they bump into her and stuff, and Fassbender in the trailer is like, we have to give the daughter back. It is not ours. And then Alicia Vikander's like, no, it's mine and stuff. And I'm just like, oh my God. I never seen a trailer that much to where I was content at the very beginning of the trailer, and at the very end I was perplexed, and then I was confused, and I was angry at Alicia Vikander. So this trailer kind of takes you through the course of some emotions there, and I was like, really well done, trailer. I'm really excited to see this movie just because Derek Cianfrance is involved in this and stuff. Is it a blown away trailer? Not really. But like I said, I wasn't really blown away by the Place Beyond the Pines trailer either, but I ended up loving that. I'm strictly going off the talent involved. It's Michael Fassbender. Literally, I'm not even joking. 3 hours before I record this show, I watched Steve Jobs. The guy's electric. He is magnificent in anything he does. Alicia Vikander, she's starting to become one of my favorites. I love her in Ex Machina. Didn't see The Danish Girl or The Man from U.N.C.L.E. But like I said, she was so good in Ex Machina, and I just can't wait to see more of her. And then Rachel Weisz, she's always pretty good. I've never been blown away by her yet, but I really did like her in The Fountain, the one done by her ex-boyfriend, Darren Aronofsky. So yeah, the story's fascinating. The human drama's there, and I was completely sucked in just by the premise and stuff because I'm just I'm curious now. I want to see what happens. Is Alicia Vikander going to take this to a point where she runs away with the kid, or is Michael Fassbender going to kill Rachel Weisz to make everything calm again and raise the family? I don't know. It can get into some weird fucked up situation. I mean, it's PG-13, so I won't get that fucked up, but. I'm really excited to see it. The human drama is there. The trailer made me angry and confused at the same time. I was like, oh my God, just give the baby away. Just do it. Give it back to the mother. And then, she's like, no, I don't want to. It's like, God damn it, woman. All right. So, yeah, I really like the trailer a lot. I don't love it, but I do like it. So, The Light Between Oceans. Check it out. And apparently, Michael Fassbender and Alicia Vikander are dating. I didn't know that. Good for them. Good for them. All right, so that's it for the trailers, guys. Like I said, very short trailer week. There's nothing really came out. I have no excuses. Just I searched far and wide for you guys to pick out the best trailers. Those are the only two worth talking about. So, what did you guys think of the trailers that came out this week? Which one was your favorite? My favorite, obviously, is The Light Between Oceans. Comment in the place, rub my face, and let me know. All right. We're hitting that point, ladies and gentlemen. The appetizers are out of the way. Let's get the light shit out of the way. Now, let's get into the heavy stuff. The actual topic of the podcast that everyone is waiting to hear. Not really. The 999 Eddie Eagle are not tracking well at all. I'm going to review 999 and Eddie the Eagle. I'm going to start with 999. Now, let me take a drink real fast. 999, I was looking forward to it, but I wasn't like, oh my God, I need to see this like right away. But I was intrigued. So walking out of the movie, I liked it, and I did like some aspects about the movie. But for the most part, not going to lie, it is a very standard, very typical, dirty cop movie that just didn't really add anything new. But I liked some of the elements a lot to where I bumped up my grade just a little bit more than most people. So let's get real and break this down. Now, let's start with the directing and the writing. Now, it's directed by John Hillcoat, who has done one of my favorite movies of recent memory, The Road. I love The Road. He also did The Proposition, and Lawless was pretty good. So, knowing the director's background, I was very curious to see this movie and stuff. It's got a humongous cast. I mean, we're talking Chiwetel Ejiofor, Casey Affleck, Anthony Mackie, Clifton Collins Jr., Kate Winslet, Gal Gadot, Woody Harrelson, Teresa Palmer. Like, this cast is just fucking ridiculous. So with the writing, I guess some of the pros would be, I don't have any pros with the writing. I guess with my cons with the writing would be the fact that it is very basic. It's very standard. There's really nothing new. Everyone's connected in some way, shape, or form in the movie. And when everyone is revealed and, like, there's a bad guy lurking around in the cops that are in this movie, when it happens, you're just like, oh, wow, what a great reveal. So, I mean, it's a basic story. I didn't feel like anything was new or anything. So, the writing was just so-so. It was average. The story was just average. The directing, on the other hand, I do like John Hillcoat's attention to realism. And the fact that he did ground this movie in kind of like a realistic setting to where it felt gritty, it felt dirty. I felt like these cops were going into these buildings searching for these motherfuckers. I felt all that. That's as far as the pros I will take for this. I mean, it's just a very average and kind of blah movie, but, ladies and gentlemen, the reason why my grade will be a little higher when I reveal it to you guys, I actually like John Hillcoat's kind of like suspenseful, intense scenes of like them raiding a building or raiding an apartment complex. John Hillcoat knows how to create tension, and I love that. And seeing this movie made me like kind of hopeful to be like, oh wow, if John Hillcoat actually got like a better script or a more advanced script of this type of story, he could really make it into something special, kind of like a Departed or a Goodfellas or something. So there were a few scenes where it was crafted very well, from the acting, just the way it was shot and the way it was edited. I felt the tension. I felt the grittiness there. It felt dirty. It was scary. Like I felt like he really captured like the essence of the tone of like how cops deal with gang members and stuff and how dangerous it can be. So I gotta give him huge props for that. But as far as everything else, the directing is so-so. But there's a few scenes, like I just stated, that stand out to me that I'm just like, wow, I wish the whole movie was like that. Acting-wise, everyone does fine. I mean, no one's terrible in this movie. Maybe Gal Gadot. Listen, I'm not going to go on my Wonder Woman rant again, but I'm looking forward to Batman v Superman, and whatever she is presented in front of us as Wonder Woman, I will just take it, and I will digest it, and hopefully it's good. If it's not, then I'm going to be really worried for Wonder Woman. But as far as the Fast and Furious movies go, and as far as this movie goes, I'm still not into Gal Gadot at all. She is terrible. She is so wooden. She is so wooden. She barely has any lines in this movie, yet she still managed to fuck it up. It reminds me of how Ronda Rousey did Furious 7. And Ronda Rousey literally had 2 lines, and she delivered them as if I was placed in there, like as an amateur. Like, it was so bad and so noticeable. I was like, wow. The 2 lines that you had stuck out like a sore fucking thumb. So Gal Gadot is probably the weakest part about the acting. Everyone else is fine. I like Woody Harrelson a lot. He kind of reminds me of his character from True Detective. Casey Affleck is awesome. I can't wait to see him in more movies this year because he's going to be in like 3 of them this year. So I can't wait. I think he's the in terms of acting, I think he's the better Affleck. In terms of directing, Ben's got it all the way. Everyone else, Chiwetel Ejiofor, he's fine. He's good. Anthony Mackie's fine. Everyone is just fine. They service the story. They move the story and the plot along. No one really stood out and I was like, holy shit, that was awesome. Everyone was fine. Kate Winslet's accent. A lot of people have a problem with the accent. I think it's fine. It's not anything like, terrible or out of the blue, but she does like a Russian accent, I think, if I remember correctly. It was fine with me. Like Kate Winslet's really good at doing accents and stuff, and I've never had a problem with her. And I gotta tell you, man, she just looks so hot as like a like a gang boss. It's just Kate Winslet. I'm ready for you whenever you want to get hitched and move away. You're taking your sweet time. But no, as much as I like Kate Winslet a lot, she was whatever. But it does actually give me hope for when she wants to try to tackle another villainous role, because I could actually see her portraying a villain very, very well. So I would actually want to see that. As far as the cinematography goes, like I said, I think what Johnny Hillcoat did better than this whole movie was ground this in some type of realism and some type of intensity that I felt like I was there. I felt like I was watching these real life cops or these real life people get into all this shady, dirty shit. I felt like I was there. And like I said, some of the intense scenes of like raiding an apartment or going through a tunnel or this dark building, I love the way it was shot. It was handled so well. And it looks like we were following around real people, and it added, another layer to that realism for me that I really appreciate. I don't have any cons with the cinematography. The cinematography is pretty good. I like it. Editing wise, I think the movie's about an hour and 40 minutes, I believe. The movie does, I think it's like 2 hours. The movie does fly by for me, but I can see how it could be just kind of boring to some people because it is very, it's very okay. And then, like I said, when the reveal happens at the end, it's like, okay. And the way the movie ends, you're just like, okay. I don't know how to describe it, guys, without, I don't like to spoil anything, so it's really hard. As far as editing goes, the pace is okay. It got me through from first act, second act, third act. I was intrigued. I was like, oh, what's going to happen? And then, just like I said, when the ending happened, I felt a little disappointed. I was like, it was a little underwhelming. I was like, that's the end? Oh, okay. I guess we'll just go with it. There's just a lot of stuff kind of like unresolved, and it's just a really messy type of story and stuff. There's just so much going on, so many characters. They could have cut back immensely. So that's it for the editing. So overall, guys, this is not the most intriguing dirty cop movie I've ever seen. It's messy at sometimes. There's way too many characters, but I do enjoy some of the intense scenes that were created in terms of the acting, how it was shot, and how it was edited together. It was really well done. Kind of reminded me of like little snippets of Sicario. So I really appreciate that. And I enjoy myself. I was entertained, even though it was nothing new. And I do like seeing all these actors. I really can't wait to see more of Casey Affleck and stuff. So overall, guys, I'm going to give 999 a B. Listen, I actually would not recommend this movie to anyone because it's nothing that you need to rush out to the theaters for. This is a Netflix movie. Hands down. I'm okay with saying that. And I'm okay with my B. I'm never going to see it again. I don't want to see it again. I don't want people to pay money to see it. I will advise you to watch it on Netflix if it ever comes to it. Or if you're bored one night, if it hits Redbox, go spend $1. I'd say $1 is fine. But I was entertained. I enjoyed myself. There were a lot of really good aspects, but too many okay ones. But I can't justify giving it like a C or like a C plus or whatever. I just think there's a lot of better elements than what people are giving it, to where I feel like a B is a solid grade for this movie, even though I wouldn't recommend it or see it again. Maybe I was just in the right mood that night and I really liked just seeing a dirty cop movie. So 999, I'm gonna give it a B. I think it's a solid movie. It's just very meh or okay in most parts, but there were some parts I actually enjoyed. All right, so let's get into Eddie the Eagle. So this is an inspirational movie of Eddie Edwards, I believe, and he was Britain's ski jumper back in the the 80s, I believe. Let me look it up while I try to bullshit my way out of this. I'm sorry, guys. Like I completely just like fucking blanked. But hey, that's what happens when you do this shit live, right? Yeah, 1988. So I was right. It was actually the same year as the movie Cool Runnings. You know, that bobsled team that was based around. Same Olympic year. So I thought that was kind of cool. So yeah, Eddie Edwards wants to be a ski jumper, and he's really terrible at it. But he eventually gets coached along the way, and his tenacity and his drive, to do it is incredible, because we all need to be like Eddie. We all need to strive to have his optimism and his drive to do anything in life, because it's so infectious and stuff. However, I thought the tone of this movie was the downfall. And I think taking too many liberties with the story makes it even worse when you read about it. So let me explain. So let's get real and break this down. Let's start with the directing and the writing. Now, the writing, this is a basic underdog story. And there's really nothing new in terms of how an underdog story is presented. We have a kid that's being, shot down at every single moment by everyone in the movie. And, he's like, no, I want to be a ski jumper. And, that was terrible. And he keeps going, even though he keeps failing, and then he eventually succeeds. It's a typical underdog story of a real-life guy. So I get that. But it's just a very basic story. Like, there's really nothing like, woo, oh shit, that was different. The only thing different about this one than most underdog stories is the tone and the way it's presented. It's got this very like optimistic, kind of happy tone to it, which I didn't really appreciate. I get it. I get it that Eddie was a very outgoing type of personality, and he was very talkative when he was in the Olympics, and he was way different than any other athlete. But I felt like it didn't really add any depth to his character. He was kind of one note to me. And I'm sure Eddie Edwards is a great guy. I'm not knocking him. I'm knocking the way he was portrayed in the movie. Him being so happy all the goddamn time, that's fine, but you need to have more depth to it. There was a couple scenes where he kind of like went a little dramatic, but other than that, it was just all, zany one-liners and just too much happiness. I'm telling you, maybe I'm just an old grump, but I didn't appreciate that kind of like overly optimistic tone. Like, it was so overcooked till I was like, can we just like rein it back a little bit? Subtlety, please. Another problem I had with it was the portrayal of Eddie Edwards. I don't know how the guy was in real life, and I've never seen any clips or anything from the Olympics or whatever, but what Taron Egerton did, it was almost like a caricature. It was so cartoony and so overdone. I was like, I get it. He was probably like that, but can we rein it back? Can we do a little bit more subtlety in the type of character that needs to be portrayed and stuff? So I had a problem with that. As far as Hugh Jackman's character goes and all the other like side characters, pointless. If you take them out and you like toss them to the side, it wouldn't have made a lick of difference. They were just there to propel the story. There was no real meaning for them, and like Hugh Jackman's character was very basic, and his character was like semi in depth at the end of the movie, but that felt tacked on and it felt too tacky. And then there were some characters that were just completely pointless, like Christopher Walken. I get why he was there, but there should have been more of him if they're going to go down that route. And then the other thing, the last and final thing I had a problem with, is that everyone in the fucking movie was so negative towards Eddie. So fucking negative, including the dad. And it got so bad to a point where Eddie actually made it to the Olympics in the movie. And the commentators were still dogging on him, going, oh man, this kid's going to suck butthole. I mean, they didn't say that, but you guys get my point. It's like, can we just ease up on that shit? Like, I understand, like, maybe the teasing at the beginning when he's not in the Olympics and he's training and stuff, but holy shit, he's in the Olympics. Not many people can say they've fucking done that, and they're just like, oh, we're going to shit on him. It was too much. Just take that shit out. And what I was saying was earlier, if you read up on this, the actual story of Eddie, there's a lot of stuff in this movie that just takes so many liberties with the character and his story. It's like, why? The Hugh Jackman character, his coach, non-existent, never existed in the real life story. And they said that he barely even had coaching, and he just kind of like did coaching every now and then from someone. The second thing was he actually trained a lot in the United States, and it wasn't overseas. And the third thing was, just like I mentioned on the hatred of most of the characters hating on Eddie so much, apparently in real life, the dad was very supportive. So why make him a fucking dickbag in the movie? I don't get it. I understand you have to adapt for the big screen. Real life people, you have to adapt. You have to add stuff. You have to take away stuff. I get that. But it seems like they altered so much. It's not even an Eddie Edwards movie. It's just a fucking ski jumping movie at that point. So, woof, I'm sorry, but those are all the bad things I have about the writing and directing. Some of the good things, just a few though, I do like the way the director handled the actual ski jumping scenes. I felt like I was there, jumping with Eddie. It had like this like floating mentality in the air, just the way it was shot using the different camera techniques and camera angles and stuff. I just thought that was really well handled, and I was held in suspense when Eddie was at the top getting ready to jump and stuff. So I do like those sequences quite a bit, and that's the only praise I'm going to give the writing and directing. All those bad things I just listed kind of irritate the shit out of me. Acting-wise, listen, as much as I don't like most of the characters and they're completely pointless, or most of them are just fucking hating on Eddie the whole time, everyone does fine. Everyone does their job. They did what they were directed towards. The director told them to act that way. They acted that way. I don't agree with how they acted, especially Taron Egerton. He was fine in the role, and I'm sure Eddie was like that, but he was so cartoony, he needed to rein it back a little bit. Cinematography-wise, well, I guess on the acting, like I said, Christopher Walken was like one of the biggest wastes I've ever seen in my life. Cinematography-wise, it was shot well when he was actually at the training area and stuff, jumping on the ski jumps and all that stuff. So I thought those were really well handled. You felt the weight of his skis, or like you felt the tallness of the ramps and stuff. So like just the way the director picked the camera angles and stuff, and made it seem like we were actually there. I love like when Eddie's like flying off and like he's there like floating in air, and the camera is like behind him and stuff, showing that. That's cool. It gets you invested, gets you into the movie. I love that. Cons with the cinematography, there are a few scenes where it's a set and it looks like a set. It's just too bright and happy, kind of like Eddie's personality in the movie. But they need to just add more lighting to it, make it a little bit more diverse or something. I don't know. It was just, some scenes were just way too set looking to me. So, but that's it on that. Editing wise, movie's about an hour and 40 minutes. As much as I dislike most of the characters and how just underdeveloped and one note they were, and just the tone and just the overall averageness of the story, the movie did fly by, because like I said, with this overly optimistic and happy tone, it's very energetic, it's very entertaining, and it does get you through the movie pretty fast. I don't feel like there was any lull or lag or whatever. It had a nice pace and rhythm to it, so I do. I'll give it that. Special effects. What the crap? There's one scene where Hugh Jackman's about to jump on the 90 millimeter, or the 90 meter, sorry, and he's like smoking a fucking cigar, and it's terrible green screen, and there's a couple shots dealing with the actual ski jump. And I realize you're not going to put the actors actually up there, but you got to make the effects look better. It looks so cheesy and corny. I was like, wow, this is a 20th Century Fox movie. Listen, when I saw the screening, you know that they were trying to get you pumped up when they put Independence Day 2 trailer in front of it, and they put the X-Men Apocalypse trailer in front of it. They're not supposed to do that. Usually, like, they just play the movie at the press screenings or the advanced screenings or whatever. But they threw the trailers in front because they probably knew that Eddie the Eagle was in trouble and they needed to get people hyped up for the movie. So smart on their part. But overall, guys, I have so many problems with the tone and the story and the characters and just the way some characters were portrayed and stuff. And the acting was just okay at best. And the ski jumping sequences were handled very well. And it does fly by despite me not really caring for the movie at all. I'm sorry to give this score, guys, but I'm going to give Eddie the Eagle a C-. I didn't really care for it. I wouldn't recommend this movie to anyone. But if you are into underdog stories, check it out. I ain't going to stop you. But I'm just letting you guys know that this was just a movie I did not care for. I don't really want to see it again ever. I just thought maybe this was just a missed opportunity and there was just a lot more bad than good. So, yeah, Eddie the Eagle, C- is kind of whatever. And then it's just some of the stuff just irritates me. So take it for what you will. All right, guys. So with that being said, the movies are done. So what did you guys think of 999 and Eddie the Eagle? Comment in the place where my face and let me know. I'd like to know your thoughts on the movies. And if I'm definitely wrong, because I always am. So please tell me why you liked Eddie the Eagle or why you disliked 999 so much. I would love to hear it. All right, so that's it. Let's get into the last section of the show, which is the box office results. All right. Oh, shit. I forgot to pull up the numbers. Hold on a second. Okay. So we had 3 movies come out this week, and 2 of them made it into the top 5. Number 6 was 999 with 6.1 million. Remember that number because that's going to be important. 6.1 million. The budget is unlisted. It only made that domestically. There's no foreign numbers. Number 5, Eddie the Eagle, was 6.3 million. Its budget is 23 million, so it needs to make about 46, maybe like 56 to 60, because they probably blew a lot of money on that fucking Super Bowl ad. So I'm going to say, just for argument's sake, probably 50 million, 50-ish to break even. It made 6.3. Yeah. You can just tell no one really cared for this movie at all. So it's really sad because you can tell 20th Century Fox was trying desperately to get people in the theater. Like, for instance, the advanced screen, the guys pumped up with X-Men Apocalypse and Independence Day 2. They threw a fucking ad in the Super Bowl. It's crazy that people still didn't give a shit about it. But then again, I didn't really care for it, so I guess it makes sense. So yeah, Eddie the Eagle 6.3 at number 5. Number 4 is Risen with 7 million, and its budget is 20 million. And right now, domestically, which is the U.S. and Canada, it's made 22. And worldwide, it's made about 22.8. So it's not really doing well either, even though I kind of like Risen a lot, actually. Number 3, Kung Fu Panda 3 with 9 million. Its budget is still unknown, but domestically, it's got 128, and worldwide, it's got 314. Pretty good, pretty good. Number 2, Gods of Egypt with 14 million. You're probably thinking to yourself, oh, it's pretty good. It's not bad for that type of movie. I mean, I can't believe it even made that much. Here's the dildo, folks. Its budget is 140 million. It needs to make about, I'm going to say with advertising, 300 fucking million to break even. Right now, domestically, it's got 14 million. And worldwide, I cannot believe it made that much more foreign, but worldwide it's sitting at 52. Yeah, this movie's going to fucking tank. I had no interest in seeing it. I did not want to review it for you guys because I hear it's dog shit, and I don't review dog shit for you guys, or at least I tried not to. And plus, it just didn't look intriguing at all. So, yeah, didn't see Gods of Egypt, but I think you guys won't mind. Number 1, 3rd week in a row, Deadpool with 31.5 million. Its budget, 58. So it needed to make about 120 to 130 with all the advertising and stuff. It's made 600 worldwide. I'd say it's doing pretty well. Just a little bit, though. Domestically, it's got 285. And what's really interesting about that, when we pull up the charts, Deadpool right now is sitting at the third most profitable R-rated movie domestically of all time. Number one's Passion of the Christ, sitting at 370 domestically, and American Sniper sitting at 350. Deadpool's at 285. If it keeps going and it keeps chugging and stuff, it's definitely going to hit American Sniper, and I wouldn't even be surprised if it actually became the top one, topping Passion of the Christ. Deadpool might be the most successful one of all time. That's pretty fucking sweet. So, and a little side note trivia: The Revenant is actually the 21st most successful R-rated movie of all time with 170. So, not bad. Man, there's a lot of movies on here. Even the lowest one. This is really funny. Just a little. I know I'm getting distracted, but in 200th place. So the 200th most successful R-rated movie domestically is Freddy vs. Jason with 82 million. Make a sequel, please. But yeah, no, I think that's very interesting. Deadpool is on its way to being the biggest R-rated domestically of all time. Oh, my word. All right, so that's it, guys. This has been another episode of Real Me and Colin, the Movie Podcast. This was episode 119. If you guys are listening to this today or even later on this week, me and Terrence Page will be covering the Oscars live tonight for 3 hours. We're going to do it, the whole thing, from 7:30 to 10:30 Central Standard Time. That's starts at 8:30 Eastern and was at 5:30 Pacific. So yeah, I'm really excited to cover the Oscars tonight. That's gonna be a bonus episode for you guys. I'm gonna do it just like I did with the Golden Globes. So that's gonna be really fun. I cannot wait. So look out for that. Next week is episode 120. I have seen London Has Fallen, so that will be one of the movies I review next week. And I'll probably catch Zootopia as well to review that for you guys. So I'll probably see Zootopia, and I've already seen London Has Fallen. So Zootopia and London Has Fallen will be episode 120 for next week. It's going to be a fun one, guys. So that will do it for this week's episode, guys. I want to thank you for listening or watching. You guys are always awesome. If you're listening on Spreaker, iHeartRadio, or SoundCloud, and you want a video version, link in the description below. And if you want an audio-only version and you're watching on YouTube, link will be in the description below. If you guys want to follow me on Twitter, it's right here on the header, at RealChaseLee, and subscribe to the YouTube channel, all that stuff. Spread this around like, a disease on the internet, and tell people that, what, this is not the best podcast in the world, but it's not bad. So I'll see you guys next week for episode 120. I'm Chase Lee for Real Me and Coleman, the Movie Podcast. And hey, listen, if you are not a movie fan and you made it through this entire podcast, well, hopefully I convinced you to be one. I'll see you guys next week for episode 120. Check out the Oscar bonus episode later on tonight. You guys are fucking awesome. The intro and outro music is done by my friend's band Fervent Roze. Check them out. And speaking of that, let's fucking play that shit. Peace out, everyone. Have a good day, good night, or whenever the hell you're listening to this. Keep staying awesome. Stay classy, everyone. See you guys later.